Oh hi, I didn't see you there. My name is Bliss Foster and I am unbelievably excited because we are covering the brand that I think is the next in line to really blow up on the worldwide men's fashion front. For a couple of years now, there's been this thought that we're going to start seeing these really incredible designers emerge out of China into the worldwide stage, and I think we have found the first one that's really going to click with the menswear nerd audience. We're going to be jumping all over the place today. We're going to be looking at clothes that I have here in the studio, and we're also going to be looking at a shit ton of pictures so that we can kind of wrap our heads around what it is that they are doing. Everybody, I present HAMCUS. The elevator pitch for this brand would be that it is a fashion brand that revolves around a sci-fi storyline. That is a tall order. Okay, so my initial thought when I hear things like that is, don't get your hopes up, don't get your hopes up. Because I want for everything to have this beautiful, massive narrative and all this world building and all these characters and this really touching. But unfortunately, most things that start with concepts like that end up being really lame. But that's not the case here. When I reached out to the designer, whose name is Tuff, to try to understand the world a little bit better so that I could accurately represent it here, he sent me a link to the HAMCUS wiki, which is basically a synopsis of the different races and factions that exist within the HAMCUS universe. And we're going to read from that. We start at the top with a little bit of an artistic statement about the philosophy of why they're doing things this way. We're also going to look at pretty pictures while we read. At the very beginning that we constructed this concept, we thought that if it was just another clothing line limited to a certain style, it would surely lose its creativity because of the inherent rapid consumption and seasonal renewal patterns of commercial fashion, lacking freshness and slowly becoming tedious. Therefore, we boldly give you the Cosmos character style system, a distinctive concept proposed by Tuff Liang that the world has never seen before. We radiate the core of the story into a universe called Primus, by drawing a story evolution of different races' society to push out the corresponding dress patterns with distinct personalities. The factors that influence the setting include the environment of the universe, the background of the characters, and the development of the world story. We will use fabric materials combined with technical treatments to match the ethnicity of each individual race to sketch the evolution of clothing for each different race in each seasonal series, encompassing the continuity story of the universal outline. So basically the story of this world is going to be told through these seasonal collections, which will show what is happening between these different factions by the way that their clothing is changing. So if one faction invades another faction and drives them off of the planet and they then have to land on another planet that's frozen over, that same group of people with their same design mentality and their same culture would then have to create very winter-bound clothes. I totally made that example up, but you get the point. More setup. Most of the story will be centered on the complex social group known collectively as society. At the peak of the pre-apocalyptic human civilization with the depletion of the V19 planet resources and later looted by the unknown gene plague, the world of V19 collapsed and regressed, entering a new era of primordial that existed in the post-apocalyptic order and chaos. So there's a little bit of this that's getting lost in translation between the original Chinese and the English translation of it, but I love that about this. It's kind of like how some fantasy narratives get written in this way that's so much imitating an older way of speaking that kind of some of the meaning gets lost. This is like talking about the future in a way that the present can't quite understand because it's so far distant. Okay, so let's talk about the individual factions. The PMU Corps, or the prime military units, encroach on the armament groups that occupy the resources of the planet. The majority of the legionaries are made up of remnants of the Primus enterprises, and they are also actively expanding the forces by absorbing non-regular army groups such as grazing predators, bounty hunters, killers, alien species, and so on. The appearance of PMU Corps is well differentiated. The regular army has a uniform system as all other armament groups, glutted with military elements and practical functional design. Even the material is also biased towards the adverse apocalyptic harsh environment, thus emphasis on persistent survival. Because the Legion controls the operation of most industries in the region, they have the absolute advantage of resources. The outlay ensures the superiority of the military equipment of the group. The protagonist from the Autumn-Winter 18 season is from the PMU Corps. The description reads, a military-capable group with daily active wear combines the functional and industrial garment wash with the iconic geometric cut geo-pockets, creating an independent and easily identifiable military mercenary lifestyle. In the current season, PMU continues to use a large number of waterproof and breathable technology fabrics, reflecting printing and custom metal fasteners, anti-UV radiation materials, as well as more addictive brainwashing unique structural combination function items. Addictive brainwashing unique structural combination function items. This is so sick! Next group. Cyber-organic exiled race called Adam. A group of forgotten exiles who are driven by a belief in a common resonance to search for their only salvation, as they call themselves the Children of Adam. In addition to the common garment dye and geometric pattern cutting, this season brings a mix of hemp mesh material and windbreaker functional fabric for the new ethnic style. The use of special emphasis on the contradiction between the post-apocalyptic world industrial technology and the planet's organic life is forced to be inclusive. World-building information about the Adam faction. The Illuminator of Generation at Primus Dawn proclaims the truth that Adam is more powerful than their supposed creators. He is the true light of the world. Whoever follows will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. An ancient biochemical gene inhabits the atmosphere of the V19 planet, which is referred to as P0 or Prime Omega. It infects all living organisms. The host will continue to degrade and recombine its own DNA, and eventually the host will partially or completely disintegrate into the original genome and recombine into a new heteromorphic organism. In the name of countering P0, Prime Enterprise attempted to recreate human DNA to adapt to the undirected influence of the planetary virus environment, and to force the integration of the organic matter and ancient civilization technology. The lengthy process of experimentation produced countless uncivilized adaptation products that were abandoned and assembled into another arranged destiny community of Planet V19. They call themselves the Children of Adam. So the Children of Adam are like the result of like a experimentation thing that was used to try to avoid a virus that's in the planet's atmosphere. Okay, I don't want to guess on this too much right now. Let's continue because we're almost done. The next faction is the Arven, which is spelled R-V-E-N. Continuing the Adam storyline, the ill-fated Children of Adam were evading the pursuit of the PMU Corps and were forced to venture through the dark areas of V19 in the face of adversity, the Wasteland. Although they temporarily got rid of the hunters of the Legion, they did not know that they had entered the hunting game of the wilderness tribes that lived in the depths of this lonely death. A mysterious stranger, codename Ako-Ra, who appeared on the verge of annihilation, aided them in escaping from the looting, and with the help of their guidance went deep into the wasteland to find the heavenly sanctuary hidden in the metropical. Okay, so this says metropical paradise. I think this is trying to combine the word metropolis and tropical. So a city jungle in the Primus universe, but also that is a paradise. Okay, so obviously this is insanely sick. It's crazy to me that this has not been thought of before. I can't think of any brand that has done anything close to this before, but it's strongly in their aesthetic. It reminds me of Capital a whole lot, and it reminds me a whole lot of some elements of Visvim. I've talked a little bit with the designer, Tuff, and he said that he wants to expand this storyline out in a lot of different ways, but that they don't have capacity to do that quite yet. They're focused on putting out new seasons and having a storyline to go with each season, but he eventually wants this to be a massive, sprawling project. And for a brand that I hadn't heard of before just recently, I'm shocked at how massive their catalog is. They have so many items. But as it goes with all clothing brands, those things do not mean anything if we do not have really crisp final product. And crisp final product we have. Let's take a look at some clothes. So basically, I scrolled through their catalog of current products that they have on their website, and I just picked out 4 things that I thought looked really cool, knowing nothing at that point about the storyline behind them or anything, and they just said, great, whatever you want. I should qualify at this point that I am not being paid to make this video. I made this entirely because I really, really like HAMCUS and what they do, and I am not being given any of these products either. I'm shipping them back on my own dime. That's the case for the other 2 videos that have been like this also. No one is paying me to do these. For now, I'm only doing these episodes for brands that I truly, truly, truly love. All right, I'm gonna change pants. So the concept for this clothing brand has set up some interesting goals for themselves. They have to at once be able to represent these groups and these factions that are living very hard lives out in the wilderness, and they're trying to survive this post-apocalyptic landscape. But at the same time, HAMCUS has to sell clothes that are brand new clothes. So they have to create things that look very truly weathered, but also are not gross looking when you actually get them. And these, as soon as I got them and I put them on, Lindsay looked over at me and was like, oh, you should own those pants. Those pants are very, very good. And it's true, they do have a very weathered look to them, but they feel very crisp. This feels like something that is truly brand new. So we sort of have these exaggerated like motorcycle pant detailings that have been blown out to a way bigger scale than they usually are at. We have normal pockets on the front, just like regular sweatpant pockets. The back pockets are super sick because they do not come in from the top. Okay, they come in from the top also, but they also come in from the side. And these pockets are humongous. And I mean humongous in a very literal way. This is a mug. How often can you fit mugs into your back pocket? Not often? That's what I thought. And look, I can still fit my wallet back here. No problem. Completely separated. Mug, wallet, totally separate. Item number 2. So it turns out that I actually selected 3 different items from a faction called the Scrap Thogs, which is like kind of a disorganized neutral group that does scrap metal working Mad Max kind of vibes. Look at this shit. This is so cool. So I guess this is like how you're supposed to wear it. It's just like a normal hoodie or whatever. But I really like the element of this thing having all of these extra little things here and all of this like kind of built-in kind of faux messy functionality to it. It feels like it's kind of encouraging you to play with how you're wearing it. And gosh, they have so many items in their catalog that if you had a pretty healthy collection of this stuff, there is surely like hundreds of ways that you could wear it, literally. And like, okay, look at this. So like this has these snaps here, right? It goes like that, undone. So you still have the Kanga pocket down here, but instead of having the second Kanga pocket, now you have like a literal Kanga pocket where like you can like hold stuff. Like a remote and like bug spray. And that would like stay stationary on your person, but still be like right there. You don't have to like dig through a pocket for it. So if you were like actually out like searching for stuff or collecting things, you wouldn't want to be like putting it into a pocket. You would want to just be able to just like kind of like throw it in. Fuck me, running this stuff is cool. I also really like it when hoodies do the oversized thing and they have this drape in the back. That's always been a look that I've really enjoyed. And that's a little detail that comes back to how good the brand is with pattern making. You can't get that detail just by getting 2 sizes up in a regular hoodie. It has to be something that's either designed or it's not. Ah, I love it so much. I don't want to take it off, but I have to because there's more stuff to show you. Ah. Every good brand has to have something that costs a little bit less than their coats, that is a cool thing that seemingly could fit into any wardrobe, and HAMCUS, I think, knocked it out of the park with their belt that comes in 3 individual pieces. And also no instructions. So I'm pretty sure the most basic thing is that this and this fit together like that. I think it comes with no instructions so that you can kind of make it a little bit customizable. You can sort of figure out your own way of wearing it. The way that I have found to do this is that I take this end of the actual belt and I release the snaps. Then on the loop where we have 2 sides, I re-snap it around one side. Snap! So now I have this, and then we take our stupid old regular belt off. Get out of here. And I'm from Georgia, so the idea of like having a big old belt buckle is kind of offensive to me. So I'm gonna put it over to the side so it's not a belt buckle, it's hip decoration. So then we take the belt itself and we loop it around. Ooh, that's not quite where I want that to sit. I kind of want the loop to be sitting back towards that belt loop, so I'm gonna actually unsnap the belt, move it down, and then snap it back into place. So now it's just sitting right there and it is not able to move. Then I take this thing and I thread it through like so. Move the excess belt stuff over here, and then I can simply join these 2 pieces together. To be honest, I think this looks sick. There's not a lot of designer belts that I get really excited about. Most of them seem to just be status symbols and less concern over the design and more concern about just you being able to see the logo that's on the front. This seems to be the first designer belt that I've seen that really puts design first. And they don't have to scream the brand name, but it's still really distinctive. Like, I don't think there would be any mistaking who makes this belt. Also, it looks really cool with keys hanging off of it. The belt, by the way, is a completely neutral faction part of the HAMCUS universe. One final piece of clothing, and it is far and away the most epic piece of clothing here. This was described to me by Tuff, the designer, as the Scrap Thog boss's coat. This is like the boss battle if this was a video game. This thing is epic. What the fuck? Right? Pretty cool. I don't even know like what information I could be giving you right now that is going to do it any more service than just look at it. It's wild. For so long, menswear has occupied this very minimalistic mentality that's made it where I don't even know how to process clothes like this now because they are so overwhelmingly but beautifully complex. Just as an object, it so clearly has a history and a story and a function and a very specific kind of sinister character behind it. Okay, I'm gonna take the hoodie off now so that I can actually show you some of the details of this jacket and it's gonna make sense. I am cranking the AC and it is still not enough. The whole jacket has this look to it like it was pieced together from whatever warm materials they could find. This is most clearly demonstrated in these two big lines going down the back where it seems to be completely split open. I love this because it's actually three major pieces of the coat that are held together with bungee cords. So if we unlock the cords here at the bottom, we can actually pull the coat apart a little bit. There's a lining material that reinforces and actually does hold it together so it is a single coat. But it's a great detail that really helps to emphasize the narrative and the world building behind this garment. Similar to the Kanga pocket on the hoodie, these pockets are slightly customizable. If they're totally closed up, you're able to use the top part as just a big open pocket. And you also have this little pocket on the front for, your passport or some chapstick. But the snaps do come off and kind of hang open, which kind of gives it more of a gun holster vibe to me. This coat also features open arms. I'm sure there's a more technical industry term for that, but I don't really know what it is. Basically, the bottom half of the armhole isn't sewn shut. What that allows you to do is it allows you to just kind of slough the sleeves off and not have it on as a full-on coat. And this kind of encourages it to be more of a fashion object rather than just a utilitarian coat. It also just kind of makes sense because if you're roaming around killing people for gasoline and water, you're probably not like packing your winter stuff away. You're probably just keeping the shit on all year round. We're able to make use of this by taking these clips from back here and attaching them to this on the back. We also have double zips on the jacket, so we are able to get a maximally epic look when we have those sleeves tied back. Okay, done. HAMCUS, the brand, incredible, beautiful. I love them so much. I have a link so you can check out more of their stuff down in the description. I just found these guys out of absolutely nowhere and I feel really passionately in love with their work. So I wanted to make sure that everybody else knew about it. Hey, if I could ask you guys a favor, please, if you enjoyed this, share this specific video. Whenever I try to introduce new brands on the channel, those videos get garbage views. And that's usually because people tend to click on videos that have a brand that they're already familiar with in the title of the video. So if you hated it, then thank you for your time, have a good day. But if you liked this video, please throw it into the group text chat thing that you have or whatever Facebook groups you happen to be a part of or whatever forums you happen to be a part of. It would just be nice if we got more than 400 views on this. But yeah, whatever you can do to help me out, thank you so much. Please go follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I am now going to go enjoy some of Lindsay's Hell Soup. It is the best soup of all time. I wish I could share this soup with you all. I love you. Goodbye.